The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the November issue of my Psychic Hour. It's absolutely wonderful to see so many people here this evening. I want to say thank you very, very much for joining me. I really love doing these sessions for you monthly, and I love looking down the list and seeing so many people returning, and of course lots of new people too, which is great. So let me just give you an overview. My assistant Lisa is in the chat room, and she will be the one who's actually opening the lines in a few minutes to take your calls. If you're shy and you don't want to speak, well, then you can just type your question into the chat room, and she can read it out, and I will be able to answer it. Lisa's the person also who's going to call on you when you raise your hand. So on your screen, you're going to see the little hand next to your name, and if you have a question, you can raise that hand at any point, and Lisa will be calling on you during the session. I don't know how many people I'll get to. That really depends on how long my guides take with each person. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but all of the people who are here, my guides have a way of giving answers to everyone who's here while they're answering someone else. So even if you don't get called on, it's a good idea to stay till the end and continue to listen, because your question may be answered along the way as I'm reading somebody else. Just in case I don't get to your question during this hour, you have until 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, and that's Eastern time, to be able to send me your question, a simple question, not something that's going to take me pages to write, but a simple question. And you can do that either by texting your question to lisasainc@aol.com, or you can go to the email that's right here on GoToWebinar. Either way, I'm going to get that email. Remember, in order to ask a question, you must be here, and you also have to stay until the end. So I know that you did your best to try and get your question in. Okay, let me give a couple of announcements before we get started. I've got so much going on this month because, of course, we're in the holiday season. So the first thing I want to wish everyone is a happy Thanksgiving. Here in the U.S., we had it this past Thursday. Mine was absolutely marvelous and wonderful, and I hope yours was too if you're from the United States. If you're from Canada, I think you already had yours. So again, happy Thanksgiving to you too. And everyone else in the world, I'm going to wish you a happy Thanksgiving no matter where you are, because I think all of us share Thanksgiving, and this is a wonderful time of year to give that appreciation back to our Maker, the universe, however you see it, for all the good things that we have in our lives, not just the food, although turkey is always fun. So I also want to wish you, although I'll see you again before then, because notice down here on the lower right-hand corner, our next Psychic Hour is December 19th of 2021. It'll be at the very end of the year, and I will see you then, most of you. If you're not already registered for that one, please do register. These sessions tend to fill up. I don't have the biggest GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar program, so I have a limited number of people I can take. So just in case you're going to get turned away, it's a good idea to make sure, number one, that you get your name on the list early, and number two, that you actually get here about 15 minutes before, and that'll assure your ability to get it placed when we open the hour. So the next one, write it down. It's December 19th of 2021, and you need to get yourself registered for that as soon as possible. Okay, if you're registered and you can't make it, never fear. You're going to get a copy in your inbox. Lisa sends a copy of the program that we do out every month. It's also going to be posted for the public on YouTube, so you'll get to see it after the fact, even if you don't make it. But if you want to be here live with me, it's a good idea to register early. Also, I just want to I'm going to go ahead and go back up and then go zip around counterclockwise and make my announcements. This one missed the show, Luminescence, Common Sense Spirituality with Chiron Lynn Wyeth. She's got an absolutely marvelous podcast radio show on Own Talk Radio. It meets every Thursdays at 3 p.m. I know going into the new year, I don't have her schedule yet. She's still working on it. So I'm not sure certainly when I will be on, but I will be doing the show with her again next year. This past year I was on at odd months and the second Thursday of each month, and the show is at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So, I'm hoping that you guys are going to be able to follow her show and get to meet me on the show too. Now, she has that show every week, even when I'm not on it. It's her show. And when you go and look at it, if you can't be there Thursdays at 3 p.m., then go and look at her archives, because those archives are mine with her are archived on my website. All of her shows are archived both on Own Talk Radio and also on her own website, okay, which is her name, Chiron Lynn Wyeth. You can go to her website. And that there's a link from my website to hers as well. Why am I pushing her show? Because she's got a really great talk show, touches on almost every area of metaphysics you could imagine. And especially if you're driving home from work at that time, it's a really great show to listen in on while you're driving. Now, I also have another announcement. A lot of you did come to these web classes. I had one in October, the Intro to Spirit Communication, and I had one actually I think it was in September, and one no, that was October, and I had another one in November. I'm not psychic, or am I? It was earlier this month. If you had wanted to attend those but missed it, maybe you hadn't heard about them in time to get in on it, I still have them for sale on my website, so you can get, you can still get them even if you weren't there to participate. I believe the fee for them is still $25. Lisa, you can correct me in the chat room if I'm wrong on that. Sometimes I get wrong with my prices on things, but they were absolutely marvelous. They were both wonderful, wonderful webinars. So if you want to, still get them, if you're interested in those topics, they're still available. I also want to make a note. Please post your thoughts in our open forum. This is so important. And let me just show you something here. This is my website. Okay, for those of you who might not have seen it, I think everybody here probably has. And this is the home page of my website. And you'll note that right on the home page at the top, it says free newsletter. And when you sign up for my newsletter, you're going to get a couple of free downloads, and you're also going to get, this is the important thing, access to my open community. Folks, I know that so many of you are looking for people of common mind to talk to in an environment where you know you can trust the people, where you're not going to be encountering trolls or any of the other weird people you sometimes get online. So if you sign up for my free newsletter, it's going to come to you once a month, and you get all of my newsletter items. So, for example, down here, you can find them on my website too. But as they come in your inbox, you don't have to go to my website to look at my specials or my psychic development tip or my editorial. You can just read it in your email. But the thing I wanted to tell you about right now, as soon as you sign up for my website, or for my newsletter rather, you're going to get your very first course in a library that's all your own. Okay, that goes with it. And that course is the community. Okay, and that community is free to belong to as long as you're a member, i.e., you're getting my newsletter. So, for example, we have somebody here who talks about being new here, and she's just sharing a dream and how she opened to her abilities. And she shared that information, which is very personal and private. And Jennifer, thank you for sharing that. That takes um, a lot of guts a lot of times to share these personal experiences, and yet they help a lot of people. So after she wrote that, look at this. She had 3 different people comment and tell her that they were really happy that they had similar experiences. Some of them helped her to understand her dream. So she got, from other members here, she got people talking to her, people that she could trust and make new friends with. Here's another person who had said she's taking the Psychic Development Level 1 in my VIP. Now, that's another section of my site, the VIP area, and it also has its own community. But this person not only belongs to the VIP, Kelly, thanks for putting this post up here, but she also comes into the open community. And here she had asked about something she's trying to find. So she put her question in both her VIP and in the open community, which is something you guys can belong to. And of course, my assistant Lisa immediately answered her and told her where she could find the stuff. So this is a way of getting personal attention, like often within minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours, but it's usually that same day or less. Here's another person who, this is kind of cool. This is Judy, who is one of you guys. She was here at my last psychic hour, or actually the second to last, the one on August 29th last summer. And she said that I was spot on in a question. She apparently had asked me about going to Orlando mid-October. And my guides, all these, when I answer your questions, either here online with you or when I answer the questions, that you're going to write me afterwards if you didn't get a reading. Um, well, she was one of the people who didn't get a reading, so she wrote her question afterwards. It was about traveling to Orlando in October. And apparently, my guide said that the trip itself would be okay, but there were unsafe things occurring at that time that might make it better to put off her trip. Well, because of that, she ended up changing the trip because her own gut feeling mirrored that. Thank you for putting that in there. And she said Southwest canceled thousands of flights in the last few days, and they were supposed to be on one of them in the day she wrote this. Now, underneath, and people who commented on this was Jody, who said she had a very similar experience. She was also on the psychic hour, and she got sick and had to cancel, had the same experience. So this is a way of connecting with your experiences. Now here's somebody else, Stacy, who is practicing. She's doing practice tarot readings. Now you're not allowed to advertise paid tarot readings on any of my sites or any of my communities. But Stacy's doing it for free because she's learning and she's practicing. Well, good for you, Stacy. And yes, you can advertise if you're doing these things for free. I want you to learn. Okay. So the thing I want to make a point of is that this is a free thing on my website, folks, and it's for you. So I hope that you'll register for my newsletter and take advantage of that because it really is going to be so helpful to so many people, especially over the last few years when so many people are home because of the COVID lockdown or the job situation. And, when you can reach out to people and talk and share sometimes your innermost thoughts about things that other people simply can't understand who are in your everyday world, this can be a tremendous relief to have that outlet. So it is for you. I just wanted to make sure you see that. Okay. Also, here I have download my app. And so you can find my app right here. See my cursor. Download it. And of course, that's my website, www.sandyanastasi.com. Now, zipping over to the other side, here's our psychic hour tonight. And I want to go over my specials, and then I promise I'll stop talking. Okay. You can find all of my specials, as I just got done showing you, on the home page of my website. So if you don't catch them here, if you're not fast enough to read them, or if you don't understand them, they go into a whole lot of depth on that front page. But this is under the Sandy specials for the holidays for December. Anything that's got an asterisk on it is a November special. Some of them only have 4 more days. Some of them have something different in November than in December. So I'll go over that as I go through them. First, this is big. Get my What's Coming in 2022 webinar free when you buy anything between December 1st and December 8th. Now, the normal price for the webinar is $25. So if you don't want to buy anything on the website, just pay your $25 and get into that webinar. It's super important, folks. Lisa, what's the date on that webinar? Can you come on and tell everybody?
Sorry, I was answering somebody. Are you talking about the December?
Yeah, I'm talking about the
December 9th.
What's Coming in 2022 webinar.
Yes, it's December 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern.
So it's coming up soon, folks. If you want to get involved with it, and it does already have a lot of people who have registered. So if you want to get into that webinar, please register quickly. And if you want to get in for free, anybody who buys anything on my website, whether they know about the webinar or not, between December 1st and 8th is going to get a link to it so that they can get in there free. Guess what? If you have somebody you want to buy a gift for, buy them a gift, and then you can give the webinar. Even if you're already registered for it, you could give the free webinar you're going to get. You could give that link to somebody else. Why is that webinar so important? I just had my IT person put last year's webinar, what's coming in 2021, the year we're just finishing now, I just had her put that back up. It had been down for months. I had her put it back up on the website as a free download. So you guys can go and you can listen to the year in review. Because guess what? My guides were spot on with every single thing that's happened this year, both for individual people through their signs, things that happened with earth changes, things that happened with the government, with the COVID-19. They even predicted the whole business that happened on January 6th. It's just absolutely amazing. I listened to it myself, and my jaw was dropping down because I have no idea when I'm channeling this information from my guides how accurate it's going to be. But let me tell you, they were right on. So I can't make promises for what's coming in 2022, but if they're even half as good as they were in what's coming in 2021, you don't want to miss it. Okay, it's something you definitely want to be there for. Okay, now when you join my VIP membership, this is the last month, December. I do this once a year. We had a drive September, October, November, December. It's a 4-month drive. This is the last month. That drive will only go through December 31st. And free stuff, each month I've been giving away something for free. It's a webinar, it's a class, it's a course of something. I've been giving away something free each month. November, where did I put it? November, the free thing is what's on the other side. So if you want that free webinar that comes out of my Evolution of Consciousness series, and that is not available to be purchased unless you buy the whole series. It's a $300 series to purchase. But that webinar is being given away free if you join the VIP. And if you're already a VIP member and you bring someone in, not only are they going to get that webinar for free, but you will too. And November, we have 4 more days that you can get that. What's on the other side. That was my November special. My December special, and this is going to be good all the way from December 1 to December 31st. Here is the membership drive up to the 31st. And in that membership drive, you're going to get 12 ways to open your own gifts. Again, it's another webinar that I've lifted from my Evolution of Consciousness series, a $300 series approximately, that you cannot buy the webinars that are in that series separately. You have to buy the entire series to get them. And these are some of the best webinars in that series that I pulled out and I'm offering for free. So if you are interested in joining it, now is a great time to join the VIP membership. It's only $20 a month to belong to it. And I think it's $197 a year. If you want to get the free stuff, you've got to pay for the year membership. You've got to pay the whole thing in advance. Okay, and you'll notice I have that asterisk. The reason the asterisk is there, it's a November special, but it's also a December special, 2 different freebies. Here we have an asterisk again, because this has been ongoing. The Anastasi system of psychic development, that's what I'm most known for, folks. The early enrollment period for that is ending on December 31st. This is the last month. That class is going to start January 26, 2022. It runs through May. You can read all about it on the front page of my website, and even in my website I have a lot more material. Folks, I want to say this. If you've been sitting on the fence about taking it and you know you want to take it, make 2022 the year that you finally do take the psychic development class with me. Honest to God, there is no class in psychic development like it anywhere that you can get. There are many, many people who teach psychic development. There's a reason that so many of them have graduated from my classes. Okay. And even I remember many, many years ago, and this is a story I'm not making up, it's real, all the way back when my friend John Edward was running his original series, the one that preceded his web class that he runs on Sundays now, Evolve. It preceded it. His dream really at that point was to pull a lot of psychics together. And he had a meeting with us all in Manhattan. And there had to be maybe 30 different psychics there, all of whom were being represented in his early website. And he went around the room and he was asking them how they got involved. And out of 30 people, there were about 24 of them who had either studied directly with me for their psychic development or studied with somebody who had been one of my students. So I'm not making this stuff up. This is for real, okay? The top psychics in the world, most of them have either studied with me or have studied my materials somewhere through either my books or through another psychic who has studied with me. So if you've been sitting on the fence about developing your own skills and abilities, I only teach this class once a year. Now's the time to get in on it. Only people who come to my webinars, like my VIP membership or this psychic hour, or are directly getting my newsletter, so far are knowing about the early enrollment, because the early enrollment gives you a whole, each class has about 6 sessions in it, 6 classes. The series has 6 levels, and each level has about between 4 and 6 classes. So this is going to give you one whole level and a half if you do the pre-registration. No place else do I offer this discount. You've got to get pre-registered to get that. And needless to say, you also get a whole lot of other bonuses, because every bonus that I release as we go through the launch period that doesn't start until January, you will also receive. So this is definitely the time to get on board. And one of the wonderful things you're going to get if you get on board now is if you join right now tonight, you get a 3-pay option. That's why it's starred, because it's part of the November specials. And if you join after December 1st, you get a 2-pay option. The key is the whole class has to be paid for before the class begins in order for you to get that early enrollment option where you're saving the whole class into half, or level and a half on it. Okay? I hope I'm clear on what I just said. That I'm trying to put a whole bunch of information encapsulating it in a way that it's understandable and I don't take up a lot of your time. So I think you got it. You can find out more about it on my website. The 4th special, guess what? This is also asterisk. It's 20% off all readings, and that offer ends December 31st. Use the code SUPERREAD20. The reason it's asterisk is because this is good right now, okay? So it was a Thanksgiving special, a Black Friday special, and it goes all the way through December as well. So if you want to get a reading with me, any reading that's on my website, with the exception of my year-at-a-glance reading and my coaching and reading packages, because those are already discounted. Now, my YAG reading, notice it's also got an asterisk. That's because during the month of November, the 4 days left of this one, it was a BOGO, buy one, get one. Don't miss it. If you want to get it, this is a great time to register for it. You get to get one and then give it away to a friend for a gift, okay? When we start on December 1st through January 1st, I'm discounting it a little more than 20% to $195. Its normal price is $250. And that will be all the way through December. Okay, so there are basically two specials here for that year-at-a-glance reading. If you never had a year-at-a-glance reading with me, folks, it's a way of planning your whole year and getting an idea ahead of time, month by month, what's coming up, what should you be prepared for, which family members do you have to deal with, when's the boss going to act up, when's a good time to change job, buy a house, all that stuff we cover. Okay, we give you an overview of the year, and my guides and I go through each month and highlight what are the areas that are going to be most important month by month. And then finally, my special number 6. This is all because it's all holiday gifts and giveaways. This is why there's so many this month. My reading and coaching package is only $995 through December 31st. Folks, that sounds like a lot of money, but my readings are $250 a reading, so are my coaching sessions. When you figure that out, this is saving you over $500. You're getting 2 readings, actually more than 2 readings, free if you purchase it in the package. And I only offer this package this time of year, so it's going to go away on December 31st. So if you know that you're going through a time period in your life where you need a lot of extra help, a lot of extra coaching, folks, this is coaching. It's something other people don't do. This is coaching that is from my guides. Okay? So it's far more than what a single individual is capable of doing. And it's whether you're getting the coaching or the psychic readings, I highly recommend it if you're going through a time period in your life where you know you need extra guidance. Okay, I'm done with my announcements other than to remind the VIPs that your next call is on December 30th. Guess what? We're gonna have a New Year's celebration on our VIP call. Okay, folks, I am ready to get started. Let me just give you a quick overview here. When Lisa calls on you, you need to give her your name, where you're calling from, just your first name, where you're calling from, what you're most grateful for in your life right now. What a wonderful time for gratitude. What a wonderful time of you. And then I'd like to know what your sun sign is. Along with your sun sign, I can give you a whole lot of information before you even ask your question. And that's going to help a lot of other people on the call who are the same sun sign. And then I would like to hear your question. Lisa, who's our first person?
Before we get started, I'm going to make one little correction. Sandy, I don't know what world you're living in tonight. There's only 2 days left in this month.
Okay. Oh,
not 4. So, yeah, just so people don't get confused, it does end in 2 days. Special.
What is it? 28, 30? Oh, yeah.
Today's the 28th.
32 days in November, do we?
Well, you're in channel, you're in a headspace. We all understand that. So, alrighty.
Okay.
The first person tonight that we're going to call on is Kelly. Kelly, can you unmute yourself? Hello, Kelly.
Yes, hello.
Hey there, Kelly.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
I'm good, thank you. And where are you calling from?
I am calling from Virginia. I am a Libra, and I am grateful for this wonderful holiday weekend. I have taken off of work and just done absolutely nothing except for cook and eat.
That sounds like the perfect holiday to me. That is wonderful. So give me just a moment here because I'm going to tell everybody what's going on for Libra and the cardinal signs. Okay, so hang on to your question just for a minute. First off, Libra on this chart they're only 30 degrees in a sign. So 17 degrees and 30 minutes is where Libra begins on the 4th house cusp. So that puts half of the sign into the 3rd house, which is about sisters and brothers and close friends, and also how you think and feel about things. And the 4th house is all about family. So it's interesting that you spent the holiday at home because that's exactly where this placement should put you. It should have put you, on Thursday, and it should keep you there all through the weekend because it's a time to celebrate with friends and family and be home and have all that communication. And in the 3rd house, we have the moon in Virgo, not Libra. That's the M with its legs crossed, I always call it. So there might have been a little bit, because it's in the same house, there might have been a little bit of emotional overtones to what was going on, maybe from a person that you would have preferred wasn't there at the holiday, because this part of fortune is in Libra. It says, okay, well, not everybody's having an up time, but that's okay. We'll tolerate them. The thing is that here it is, celebrating family. Now, we have, because Libra is a cardinal sign, it's opposing the 10th house, there's career. So while you were home doing all of your, work for the family, you were probably in the back of your mind thinking about the work you had to do when you went back to work. But what's interesting is you also drew some really nifty conclusions here about things that had been on your mind before you took your holiday, because this is Chiron in Aries in the 9th house. And Chiron is what we call the healing planetoid. So if you're a Libra or an Aries, things have been going on this whole past couple of days and right now tonight that are very healing. And you're realizing that perhaps you aren't as trapped as you thought you were, because the position that Chiron's in says, you can fly, you can be creative, you can do the traveling that you want, you can start to expand in some way. You could even leave that job or reschedule things so that you have more time for yourself. So while you've been home, this energy has been going on. That's healing for you and helping you to broaden what you're doing. You also, while you were home at that holiday, probably were making connections with a lot of people, maybe kids, maybe other family members who were distant from you. And again, that's an opportunity to heal those relationships. Now, both these planets, Chiron and this little part of fortune down here in the third house and the fourth house cusp, this Libra stuff, make what we call a square aspect to Pluto, which is in Capricorn, and Venus in Capricorn. Again, it's joining these two houses together, which the sixth house is about health and work and pets. The seventh is about relationships, all of your one-on-one relationships. And these together form a T square, which always pushes its energy out in the open area, which here is the ascendant. So you guys got to do a lot of healing conversations. You got to separate yourself from a lot of things, maybe with past relationship partners that you felt were manipulating or controlling you. You found out that other people around you, either at work or at home, understood what you've been dealing with and going through. So you felt basically like you're being accepted for your actions and your beliefs, and that you can actually step forward. And guess what? Whatever burdens are in your life, they got so much lighter after you spent this holiday weekend culminating tonight. And now the thing is, as you go back to work, as you go back into life, starting for most of us tomorrow, some of us are taking off another week, but not too many, you're going to start to be able to apply all of those things, those ideas, those, things you talked about and discussed. It's like this is your opportunity to set things in motion and to say, yeah, I feel stronger because I now have the support system I didn't know that I had. How am I doing?
Well, as usual, you're right on the money.
And guess what? Thank you for that. What I just said is going to be happening for those of you who are Aries and Capricorns and Libras and Cancers. All four of you people are the cardinal signs, and this stuff is going on for all of you. Okay? So, yeah, it was a great holiday. So, what is your specific question?
Well, my specific question has to do with the area of career. I have a meeting tomorrow where I'm sort of talking a little bit about future plans with my boss, and I'm just curious if you can give me any insights on what's happening, what's coming up for the company and the leadership. I know that changes are coming for me, but it will all be about timing. And so I guess what I'm looking for is maybe some insights into what that environment's going to look like.
Well, I can tell you that you're going to be asked to take some kind of action, and they're not going to be willing to wait too long. Okay?
Okay.
Although, you're looking at the leadership in the company changing, and it feels like it may be changing, but it's not changing with any kind of swiftness. So if you do take action, you might be actually rubbing shoulders with people you don't particularly care for too much. Nevertheless, you're going to be talking about things that would be beneficial to you as a career move. You've worked very hard for this. You are very well liked in what you're doing. There's no doubt about that. And the problem is that where you work, apparently there's a lot of, it's a lot of politics. And so you're going to have to give some thought to whether or not you want to be more involved in the politics, or whether it's time to move into a different, area, or maybe move into a whole different company so that you don't have those politics. So I see a lot of decisions on your plate concerning this. So none of them are bad. These are all good things. It's just you're seeing things with the clarity that you need so that you can make the decision that's going to be healthiest for you.
Okay.
And by the way, the decision you make is going to make a difference regarding your personal, your closest relationship. If you're married, or if you're living with somebody, or if you have a best friend you hang out with all the time, it's going to make a difference. So what you decide relative to your work that's going to make a difference in your relationship. Just be aware of that. That might mean that even though you wouldn't normally talk about this with that person, it might be that this is the time you should.
Okay.
Okay? Good luck to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And Lisa, who's next?
Our second person tonight is going to be Laura. Sorry, I can't seem to talk this evening. Go, Laura.
This is Laura.
Hey there, Laura. How are you?
Hi there. I'm in Bradenton, Florida, Capricorn, and I'm very grateful for my pleasant home life with my husband and my cat.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you know, I want to just show you this. Watch my cursor. This is Capricorn right here on the 7th house cusp, which is the house of relationships. You said you're most grateful to your husband. There he is. Okay. The planet Pluto is pretty well describing your husband. I already told you about a lot of what's going on for the cardinal signs, Capricorn included. But I don't know if your husband is a Scorpio or a Capricorn, but based on this chart, right now at this time of life, he's kind of acting like that. So he might be being more secretive, emotional and cuddly, but also, kind of laid back and waiting for his opportunity to do something or to make his move in some area of his life. Meanwhile, most of Capricorn is down here in the house of pets. So who are you spending most of your time with these days? I have a feeling it's the cat. Okay. And is your cat a girl? Because Venus is a girl.
Yes, yes, she is.
I love when astrology talks to us like this, don't you? So what is your question?
Well, my question includes my cat. And the big picture question is direction and expectations for jumping again into another layer of psychic development and tied in with what the heck is my attraction to cats?
Oh, you know, I think I would the latter first. I think you're going to laugh. I think your attraction to the cats is how independent they are.
Ah,
I really do. I mean, they love you when they want to be loved, and then they totally ignore you. They eat when they want to eat because they tell you to go get it. Cats are the most independent pets. It's just amazing how many people have cats. And I've never met a cat yet that's a codependent. Even the ones who are in your lap all the time, have to have their sunny corner and get angry with you if you disturb them at the wrong time. That's just a cat personality. And I honestly think that you're attracted to that personality because there's something in that personality that you really admire.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's an area of yourself that you want to develop and cultivate. Now, as far as moving into more of the psychic development, I see, and please forgive me if I'm going into things right now that you don't want me to go into. I see you being very gifted, and I see a big question because I don't know if this is your husband I'm talking about, or if this is somebody else in your life, but it's almost like somebody is saying, you're plowing so much money into these things. When is money going to come back? Okay. And that could very well be your husband who's showing up as a Capricorn like you, because, it is a Capricorn quality to, to turn anything that they get involved with into something which is, money is going to have income. So whether the money is something which is a hardship to you or whether it's just because he wants to see something coming back, or maybe you do, I can't be sure, but I see that as a stumbling block. Meanwhile, I see something else that's kind of interesting here. I think that you're thinking yourself, and I don't know if you're thinking of taking my psychic development programs, but you're actually thinking of moving in a direction where not only would you do more with the psychic work on your own, but that you would end up teaching the psychic development and probably a lot of other things connected to it. And what I'm seeing is that if you want to step into this in a more professional psychic way, you seem to have enough under your belt already to do that. And maybe that's what he's pushing. But if you want to step into this I'm going to teach this way, you're right. You need to have more education. Whether you take my classes or whether you go with somebody else, you need to have more information, more knowledge to be able to do the job teaching it that you really want to do. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Good, good.
And I have taken your courses back in the day of Star Child.
Oh, wow. And that counts. Go to my website, and if you can't find it, Lisa will help you. On the teacher page, I have a written section that tells you everything you need to know about how to become a teacher of the Anastasi system. And go and read that. And, if you want to get certified to teach the system, that's the place to start to learn what it is you need. And yes, those Star Child classes count. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you were to come back and retake it in January, you'll be happy to know this. The course is half price because you've already taken it once. The second time through, it's half price. So this special will not apply to you because half price beats this.
Right. Yes.
Okay? A lot of people didn't know that. I encourage people to become the best psychics they can. So if you've taken my classes once, the next time you go through them, they're half price. Okay? A lot of people come back. They get very, very good. That's one of the reasons we produce so many really great psychics. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for a great question. And Lisa, who's next?
All right, lucky 3 tonight is going to be Kathy. Kathy, can you unmute?
Hi.
Hey there, Kathy.
Thank you for choosing me. I'm so excited. All right, so my name is Kathy. My sun sign is Cancer. I'm in Carlsbad, California, and I am grateful for, I am going to be a grandmother for the first time any day.
Oh, that's so exciting. So guess,
Yeah.
you're going to love this. First of all, as a Cancer, that wonderful cardinal T-square, it's all coming on you. So the likelihood is that you're going to be helping with the birth, and you're going to be helping with you're going to be there. Like, what can I say? And you're probably going to be needed. Okay, because so much right now, both with your family, with your. Is this your daughter? My guides keep saying it's your daughter. Is it your daughter or your son?
It's my son. It's my son's wife.
So why are you consider her a daughter, don't you?
Yes, yeah, I do. We're close.
Because there's a lady in spirit, and I don't know if this gal's mother or grandmother is dead, but the one in spirit saying you're like her mom. Okay.
Oh.
So this is the ability to, because I get my information from your guides and my guides, so she's a guide for you. Okay. At any rate, here she is. She's saying that this is fabulous because you're going to give her tremendous help, not just in the whole thing with the birth, but in how to. I don't know if this is her first kid, but this isn't about your son. This is about his wife and the baby. Okay. It's about your surrogate daughter here. And you're going to just be in your glory. This is right up your alley. You're going to be so helpful. It's an absolutely wonderful thing for you to do. And this baby, I'm going to tell you something about the kid. Opposing, here's your sun in Cancer. It's right up here, probably in the 12th house. So you subconsciously already know this. But I think she's going to have a girl. I don't know if she wants to, but I think she's going to have a girl. And I think you and this kid are going to be very, very close. I think you've known her before. I don't know if you knew her in this life and then she died and came back, or if the connection goes back into a past life, but you definitely have known this baby, and she is going to change your life. Okay. I want to go on a little bit because this is important. Your son is not an easy man to be married to. I hope you're aware of that. And he's got a good gal there. He's doing a good job. Their marriage is not, it's kind of bumpy. You know enough to stay out of it. You're smart about those things. But that granddaughter is going to tie them and you together. This is a very important birth in the family. Okay?
Wow. Wow, thank you.
Enjoy. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So my question is, yeah, I am thinking about taking a job in the state where they are, in Texas, and I have I have my second interview on December 2nd, and I kind of wanted to know how that's going to go.
You know, I don't know that something feels wrong about that interview happening. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to ask, is the date going to change? No. Are you going to get that interview? Yes. Is the interview in person or is it by phone?
It's a Zoom.
Okay, that's why I'm getting what I'm getting. It's like you're not going to that interview. Yes, you're going, but it's by Zoom. So yes, you're going.
Okay.
Something is wrong about it. You're not going for that interview. Okay, I had that wrong. Okay, my guides didn't, but I did. And you want to know, how is that Zoom call going to go? It's going to go extremely well. They're going to like you. I think they're going to talk money. I think ultimately whether or not you go is going to be about the job and what kind of money they're going to pay you. And I'm going to tell you something. Please forgive me, folks, anybody here who's from California, but and I have relatives in California, so I love California. Been there many, many times, but right now California is a hard place to be. If I personally, and this is not my guides talking, this is Sandy talking, if I personally lived in California and I had the opportunity to take a job in Texas, where do you think I would be? Okay. Living in Florida as I do, folks, I'm getting to have a life because I'm very, very grateful for it, that most people in our country right now aren't having. Okay. And Texas is very much like Florida. So if I can encourage you to move simply because you're going to be happier there, go. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Very welcome. And congratulations on your granddaughter. That is absolutely marvelous and wonderful.
You know, that's amazing. It's a surprise package. We don't know what it is, but I've been thinking it is a granddaughter. And it's very interesting. You also say many, many years ago, I lost a daughter. So I'm wondering now, I'm very curious.
Well, the way it's falling in this chart, either it could very well be because this is Venus and it's tied to Pluto, the planet of death. It's either, I'm going to give you choices here. It's either the daughter you lost or it's somebody that you were married to in another lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah, because the Venus and the connection to Pluto in the seventh house, I'm placing my bet on a girl. But if it is a boy, it would be the person you were married to in another lifetime.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Real powerful connections there energetically between you and that child. And you were ready for it. You're feeling the
yes.
to go there. Yeah.
Yes.
Good luck. Please drop us all a note and let us know what she has and how mom and baby are. Yep.
I will. Thank you.
Yep. So who's next, Lisa?
All righty, going on down to number 4. With my Texas accent, I'm not even going to try this first name, but the last name is Garcia. You know who you are. Please come on and pronounce your name for us.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
My name is Mahayana.
Oh, what a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so Lisa might be Texan, but she hasn't mastered the Spanish part of the Texas community. I can tell that because she didn't know how to pronounce the J. She thought it was a J, right, Lisa? Now I have to make a joke. Do you know that Lisa's mother was a Spanish teacher before she retired?
Oh, wow.
Evidently, Lisa didn't get it.
That's the truth, girl. Because no, I never took Spanish.
Nope, it didn't. None of it rubbed off on you. I get it. Okay. Mahayana, did I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
I love that name. It's just beautiful. Can I ask you, what is the meaning? Do you know?
It's a form of Buddhism.
Ah, I love it. So it's not a Spanish.
And it means, it means great vehicle.
Well, perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it. And here I am thinking it was a Spanish name. It's not. It's a Buddhist name. Okay. So I'm wrong too. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Mahayana, what sign are you?
I'm a Taurus, and I am grateful for my health, and I'm from West Virginia. And do you want to know my question?
Well, not quite yet. Mariana, I
Okay.
have a nephew, basically my only living relative, who lives in West Virginia. Yay! It's a great.
Oh,
I love it. Okay, it's beautiful. So, um, now you also, being a Taurus, I want to show this to you. This is kind of important because Uranus, this is this little jobby up here where my cursor is. Uranus is a planet that brings a little bit of chaos into your life. And you'll notice it's in the sign Taurus. It's only about 12 degrees into Taurus, 11 degrees in 15 minutes. And Taurians hate chaos unless they cause it themselves. But they absolutely can't stand chaos that comes from out the outer world and affects theirs. And because it's up here in the 10th house, there's a little bit of chaos from the outer world affecting you right now. That could be things like, people dropping in on you unexpectedly and deciding they want to live with you. It could be your job or your husband's job transferring you to another state. It's right now, it's hard to predict things and it's hard to keep on top of things because, you might leave the house on the way to go to work and the only stop you want to do is to, pick up, you know, something that a can of beans at the store. You have, okay, I'm just going to make a quick stop on the way to work, and that quick stop ends up not happening because on the way to work there's a parade, or somebody's got or there was a traffic accident that keeps you sitting there so that you can't even go to the store, and then the dinner party you're going to have later that night has to get changed because the people couldn't come anyway. This is life right now. Taurians hate this. Okay. Now, I want to just tell you, Taurus isn't even halfway through the sign. It has another 3 years. So you're going to get used to being extremely flexible. And you are a whole lot more flexible now than you were when this transit first started, which is about 2.5 years back. Now, there is also a hard aspect here between that Uranus in your 10th house to Saturn in your 7th house, and it's going to also be Jupiter in your 8th house. So right now it's hard to, you and your life partner, if you have one, are not on the same page. You might love each other dearly, you might have the same long-term goals, but you have very different ideas of how to get there. So although I see someone in your life who's a strong support system, maybe even a little bit of a block to you upon occasions, maybe a controller, okay, you might see him that way, or her, okay. The thing is, I'm also seeing that tendency to hold you down and kind of keep you back, maybe even for your own protection, is only fostering your desire to grow and to move forward and to take those chances that are going to put you in the life situation that you want. I also want to tell you that money has been a major issue, and that could be because you and your life partner are handling money in a different way, or it could be because one or both of you are having issues with your job situation, but that money's going to get easier, okay? And that money's going to get easier as we go into the next year, and probably by next spring, there's probably also going to be a big change in where you are living, and it will probably have to do with your financial situation. It's going to improve things dramatically. Okay, I might have already answered your question, but just in case, what's your question?
well, I wanted to know how I would be able to connect with my spirit guides.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, first of all, you have connected with them many, many times in the past. You're aware of that, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason you're not making the connection the way you want to be making it right now is because of the stress that you've been under. Um, this is going to sound very personal. Can you stop fighting the war? You understand what I mean when I say that? Can you stop? Just
Yeah.
there's an old saying, and this goes back to the whole Buddhist thing, that you've got to become, you've got to stop resisting. You've got to become like the leaf in the wind. In order to make that connection the way you used to have it, you need to let go of your resistance. And in your relationship, and this isn't just your husband if you're married, but this could be your boss, this could be your mother. It's many relationships. It's not just one. And somehow you're moving through a period in your life with your relationships, your children. There it is here, the children, the opposition from, I didn't even see that before, Uranus to Mars opposing each other. You have this peaceful day planned, and one of your kids or your romantic partner or your mother gets in the middle of it, and you get totally distracted. And there's the telephone, and there's the emails, and there's the trouble with running your own business. I'm hearing that. And what happens is that the time that you need for you is eaten up in the war, in the battling, in the struggle. So you've got to start planning how to minimize your interaction with that outer world, schedule as much as you possibly can in ways that you're not going to get that interference. So schedule the things that are important to you, like your meditation, because meditation is going to help you, that to get back in touch with your spirit and spirit guides. Schedule that meditation for times when you know that these people are otherwise engaged. Because most of the things that are getting in the way of your spiritual development and hearing your guides are the people in your lives. It's not that you're not capable, it's not that your guides aren't there, it's that you're having constant distractions and constant, can I be blunt?
Yeah.
Everybody wants you. And when you go into your connection with spirit, they can no longer control you, and they can no longer take all that energy that you bring in because you're now using it for yourself. So what happens, and I'm not saying they're doing this deliberately, they're unconscious of it, but every time your brainwave shifts, they have to come and grab you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you can't blame them. It's like they're children, okay? But right now, all these people in your life that you have one-on-one relationships with, who are your children, are interfering with your ability to be whole. Remember what they tell you on the airplanes? Put your own mask on first if the plane's going down?
Yeah.
The same thing applies in every aspect of your life. You've got to start putting your own mask on first. And
That makes a lot of
and think of them as children, okay? At least in this activity, think of them as children, because they really have no idea. They're psychic, they're following the energy, there you have your time planned to meditate, and that's when the phone rings, and it's your sister, and she's got this big problem because her washing machine broke. I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, I know this is how it's going. Everybody expects you to fix their world, and you have fixed it for so many years that it's hard for you to change that story now.
That's very true. That's exactly how things have been going for me.
Yeah.
And it is hard saying no to people, but I know that I'm working on it and I have to take care of myself before other people.
Yeah. Let me also share something else before I move on to my next person. I'm going to go a little longer tonight because I talked so much at the beginning. The thing, I had this transit myself a long time ago, many, many years back. Everybody gets it, by the way, at some time. So I hope you're all listening. Uranus, it's a slow-moving planet. It takes 7 years to go through a sign. Everybody, there are only 12 signs in the zodiac. Everybody, most people live that long. We all get this planet at some point. Well, when I had that planet go through, it was an opposition to me, but it was the same kind of an issue. And I had a good friend. She said to me, well, how long do you think this will take? We were supposed to be doing something together. And I said, oh, it'll probably take about an hour and a half. So she called and made the appointment, and she scheduled it for 3 hours. And I said, why did you do that? Do you have something else you want to do afterwards? She said, no, I just know it's going to take 3 hours. You always give me half the time. And she just knew to correct that. So I'm going to pass that on to you. If you are a fixed sign, folks, that's a Taurus, a Scorpio, a Aquarius, or a Leo, start doubling the time that you're allotting for the different things in your life. Because every single thing that you do is going to have somebody asking a question, some accident you have to take care of, some store you have to stop at. There's nothing that's going to take the time it should. Everything's going to take longer. Or you can have the opposite experience too, where you allowed your 3 hours and the darn thing took 10 minutes. And you say, what is Sandy talking about? The thing is, if you allow the 3 hours, if you double the time that you think it's going to take, you know you're not going to get stressed out. Uranus rules the nervous system. And when you end up being in that time crunch, and believe me, you are in a time crunch almost all the time these days. And when you're in that time crunch, you can feel the tension in your muscles, the anxiety in your mind. You can feel your neck muscles getting tight. And you end up getting all these weird health disorders that are really coming from the nervousness that you're creating with the contractions in your body. As soon as you get emotionally, intense, your whole body responds to that. Okay? So give yourself extra time for things, even for the people when you do have people interactions. Give yourself extra time for yourself and plan it and schedule it in. And that way, when the schedule doesn't match what it's supposed to be, it won't mess you up. Okay? It was a great bit of advice that my
Thank you.
family gave me back then. So you're welcome. Good luck with everything. And Lisa, who is my last person?
Okay, the lucky last person tonight is going to be Jody. Jody, can you unmute? Hello, Jody.
Nope, I guess she can't unmute.
I think Jody's not listening.
Okay, let's go to our next person.
Okay, I have one more question actually tonight, and it comes from the chat room, so I will read it. And it's from Josie, Josie, Jossie, Josie. She is a Cancer. She is from Colorado. She said, I am grateful for my family and my friends. And she would like to know if she has any messages from her mother.
Ah, okay. It's interesting. I guess if you read my editorial for this month, I don't often talk about my own family, nor do I often talk about, the whole spirit world, because I do mediumship because I channel your guides, and most of your guides are people you knew when they were alive. So mediumship is one of the things I do, but I don't do it in terms of, oh, I've got your mother here. I do it in terms of, your guide is saying blah, and your guide happens to be your mother. The thing is, around the holidays are traditionally a family time. And so our loved ones, right now the veil is very thin, so our loved ones have been really around us a lot, even without this being a holiday season. But around the holidays, any year, they're always especially close. So me and half the people I know are hearing from their deceased relatives on the other side. So it's not a surprise at all that somebody should come up this evening and say, does my mother have anything to share? It's interesting. I don't know if your mom's name also began with a J, or if that was a nickname for her, or if there's somebody else in your life whose name also begins with a J. But that J is coming up all over the place around her. And I don't know. She's giving you a warning, but I don't know if the warning is for you or if you're married, a husband or a son. But she's saying that somebody is imbibing, is taking into their body, and I think it's a food that is both adding weight on, but is also causing health problems. So she's there very strongly around you. So if you've been feeling her, there's a good reason for that. And she's very loving and she's very caring, but she's trying to, apparently it was something she had a problem with herself, and she's seeing somebody close in the family that has the same problem that she had early on and eventually led to complications that helped her to die. So she's wanting that person to know this is a good thing to stay away from, to not, cut that out of your diet. Don't eat it, because that could lead where you don't want it to. And I don't know, I think she's talking about food, like she could be talking about alcohol, that's possible, but it feels more like some kind of a food issue. Okay. Does she have a specific question she wants from her mom? Let me see if she wants to type that into the chat room or if she wants to actually come on and talk through the mic, because mom isn't gone. Mom is still here. She's fixating, mom is focusing on a dark-haired man. I don't know if that's your husband, son, or maybe you have a brother. But that might be the person she was talking about. Or it may be somebody that she just is also wanting to give a hug to, share her space with.
Okay, she raised her hand, so let's see. Can you unmute on your end, Josie? There you go.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. I can hear you loud.
Okay. Hi, how are you guys?
Wonderful.
So you were spot on about the health condition. My brother is currently in the hospital for diabetes, something that she had complications with as well. So I think that might be what you're talking about with the health complications.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I just wanted to know if she, I know she's around, but I just don't, when I'm trying to tap into her energy, I'm not really picking her up like I do other people.
And you know why? It's because you and she are too much alike. I wanted to share this with you. I was sitting in the hot tub with my husband the other night, and this is very personal, folks. This is something I'm going to have to check on. I always say I have one living nephew. He's the one in West Virginia. But I actually have another nephew. My sister left 2 sons behind. And the other nephew, nobody ever hears of. He's just sort of disappeared into the world. And he had many problems, personal, addictive issues, addictive problems. Well, as I'm sitting in the hot tub the other day, I'm in a conversation with my husband, and all of a sudden I felt myself make the same expression and laugh with the same voice that my nephew does, the one that has been missing. And I thought, oh my God, does that mean that he has passed? So I'm going to have to do some checking, because in that moment, he melded with me. So either he has passed or he was in conversation with someone talking about me. You get why I'm saying that? Now, you're going to have to pay attention to yourself, because when your mom comes to you, she comes just like that. And you and she had so many similarities in a facial expression or a gesture or a feeling, and all of a sudden you'll do a gesture that's hers. That's how you'll know she's there.
Okay.
It's very subtle. It's very subtle. The reason you can connect with other people so well is that you didn't have that connection with them. So when you pick up, you're a physical medium basically, and when you pick up the feeling from another person, it's so obviously not you. You know exactly what it is you're feeling. But when mom comes in, it feels like you. It's very subtle. You're gonna have to pick up the subtlety.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so very much, Sandy.
Great question. Thanks for asking. Folks, I'm going to have to go now. I want to say thank you all so very, very much for being here with me this evening. I love you all. I love doing these psychic hours. I try to make them, or my guides try to make them into teaching hours as well, so that you can always learn a little bit about yourself as well as the other people in your world. And remember, anytime between now, if you didn't get a reading for me tonight, between now and tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be glad to accept your simple question. Please don't forget to include your name, where you're from, your sun sign, because that way I can see where you are in the chart. I can give you more information. And also your simple question. Okay. I'll see you next month. Don't forget, next psychic hour is December 19th. The last one of the year. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful month.